Hello again, Gorgeous. We're back with part 2 for the Celtic cross. This is what we're working on, just basic instructions, kind of an intermediate project here. So if you've already watched part 1, we've made an interior frame and done a basic weave to put on an exterior frame on this cross frame. Where we ended was down at the end of this, and we're going to have 2 tails here that I want you to cut off at approximately 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. It depends on how big you want your spiral to be. And we are going to spiral both of those tails up and on the front of the cross. So I've started with just the hoop. We're going to make a quick tight spiral. Once again, I am trying to bend the spiral with manipulating wire with this hand, not with the pliers, because it tends to leave too many marks or kinks, or let's even those up a little bit. There. Okay, so now we have 2 spirals. Now to work on getting the beads on our frame and the nest here around our center bead, we are going to use anywhere, well, you can use 2 to 3 pieces, and I'll just show you right now with 2 pieces. Focal bead. Alright, so if we want a larger bead for the center part of our cross, for the sun portion of the cross, I'm going to grab a mandrel or a pen. Grab 2 pieces of your 18 gauge. You want your thicker wire because these are also going to be the tendrils on the arms of the cross. So we are going to create a nest to put this in. We're going to separate these 2 pieces and flip-flop them so they're in opposite directions. And we're going to take these arms we just created and crisscross them. It's going to be easier to manipulate them onto the cross. And this is where we are creating a nest for our focal. I'm going to take a 24-inch or 24 gauge piece of wire, just a scrap bit, and I'm going to get this in our nest in a temporary, just one wrap around where we've made this crisscross section here, just to hold it in place before we attach it to the cross on both sides. And I'm trying to do this in frame for you. Alright, and this is where we're going to attach it, and we're just going to do 1 or 2 wraps right around the center coil here of our on the side arms of the cross, and pull it kind of taut into that already existing coil. It'll hide these wraps nicely on the back. Now I tend to want to, when I'm doing attachments like this, I will leave these wires until I'm almost done to clip them, because I might end up using them further down the road for adding beads on if I decide I want more beads. So I don't take all of those off right away. Okay, we're going to go ahead and attach this side. 2, 3 really tight wraps so that it pulls in between the coils that we've already got there. Get that down there. Okay, now I'm going to leave those wires to the back side now, and we'll clean those up when we go to finish cleaning up and tucking all our ends. Now, on our cross, let's see, this one I used multiple beads, and you can do whatever variation you want here. We've already created our nest. Now we have some arms here, and I think I'm just going to do the coils here on each side, and then we'll do like the silver one here where there's 1 bead. At this point you can go ahead and do a tight coil all the way down. I'm going to determine which ones go where. So that one's going on that arm. This one is going on that arm. And curve it with the nest here, and a nice gentle arc, because we are going to attach our beads right in here. If you preform, give the wire an idea of what you want to do. Okay, easiest part first. Cut the side arms to equal lengths and we'll create a spiral up to the side. That's fine. Sorry, out of frame here for my ruler. So I've got about a 2-inch. Alright. And once again, nice tight spiral. Start with a small loop. Flatten my loop. And I'm going to bend this up so I'm not... get the frame out of the way for just a moment while I do this. Trying to keep this so you can see hopefully the shadows. Okay, there, now we've got our spiral on these two short arms here, so I'm just going to fold that over right there and give it a good little bit of a, help it down. It covers our little connection point there. If you wanted to add a couple of crystals right there, feel free. I would attach them right on the spiral, but that's me. Now, on these long arms, I would go ahead and tight coil with our finer wire all the way down. I kind of like that look myself. So you can see I've done that there. But for time's sake, right now we're just going to do the basic attachment. What I did is I would coil down to about here, and then I'm going to coil up my end around a bead. So I'm going to grab some more of my 24. And move that out of the way. You can preset your bead or you can attach it to the wire, but since I'm not coiling this wire right now, I'm going to go ahead and just preset it on the frame in between. And give it 2 or 3 good wraps, nice and tight. And once again, this is all up to your creativity. You know, feel free. Use it as a guideline. Do what you wish. Please, oh please, improve upon it. And if you do, give me a heads up, because I'd like to learn something new myself. Okay, so on the assumption I've already pre-coiled, and as you're coiling, you can attach it to the frame with just one little loop as you're going around. But I'm going to go ahead and see, I've still got my little wires back here to use to attach all this, of which I am a huge fan of doing. Now I've got that little bitty nibble there, and I'm going to, for this one, just very lightly turn that under, and then I'm going to set my bead in there with that little nibble just going right underneath. And sometimes manipulation is a wonderful thing. Down, 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 baby. 1. Need you to point down a little further. Thank you. There we go. Now I can come back with my wires and give that one more little wrap there. And you can start making these as ornate as you wish. If you want to add in other spirals, which I've done on other ones. Okay, there we go. So you give it a tack down over your coil if you do the coil, or if you leave it plain, that's fine. And once again, simple wrap. I'm going to make sure that's in there. To finish off your pieces, I always flat side against the frame, snip any wires I'm going to be tucking very closely. Give it a work around its frame, and then cheek, back of the hand, make sure I don't have any loose pieces. Then I go back once the piece is finished. We're going to tighten up all our coils. We're going to come back in here once our piece is all done, and we're going to make a little bail here. And I don't know what your favorite bail style is. This one, there it is, round nose. I'm going to start with a very tight little spiral. Give that an idea. There we go. There, our little loop. Flatten. I don't know if you want loose weave, and there are other pretty styles of bails. Feel free to use your favorite, whatever you think works with it, but since we have so many spirals in this, okay, little spiral right here. We're going to bend right there at where we ended the coil and straight back away from us. So there we go. It looks like a head pin with a flat side. Then we're going to take it on our piece. We're going to put it in our open space on the top portion. We're going to go ahead and give that a fold. In fact, I want it to kind of fold forward at an angle. And now, see how got this coming this way? I'm going to go ahead. You can either spiral this up. In fact, you know what? I think I will on that one. Or you can do it very simply, snip it, file it, and make a round. But I think I will leave a little spiral on the back side too, just for decoration purposes. So, I'm assuming, so that finishes off our spiral, and you can see on this one right here, simple S hook with a spiral on the front. And then to finish the chain, I just did the simple beaded chain, broke my chain down in pre-measured lengths, attached matching beads, and this one, I like to wear these long, so they're about 32 inches long when you wear them. And I would absolutely love it if you guys leave me some links if you try this out. I'd like to see what you guys come up with, and if you can embellish on it for me, that would be grand. And yes, I do sell these, but if you make them, feel free to sell them. Maybe give a heads up to the tutorial. Thanks. Creative blessings. See you later.